Okay, let's get started. I have started the recording. This is the Pod Management and VOLTHA FCAPS Brigade call from February 24th of 2020. This meeting is recorded. It is a public meeting. The recording will be made available on our YouTube channel. We only have 4 people so far. Hopefully we'll get a few more showing up. I did actually, oh, there we go. There's some more people. That's great. Anyway, let's get started from the, let me share the agenda. So I had something I wanted to go over first. Okay. So one thing I wanted to mention here, and I'll keep this on the agenda for people to read, is some tips for getting patches reviewed in a timely manner. So this is not unique to the brigade. This is sort of common in VOLTHAs. We have a lot of people doing work, but we also need to encourage people to do more reviews. So I have put down some tips here. You know, if you have submitted a patch, it's not getting reviewed in a timely manner. The first tip would be proactive. Request reviews from people who you know typically review your patches in the past. So I'm a good candidate. Yeah, someone like David Bainbridge is a good candidate. He's a pretty good reviewer. But just if you notice people in the community working in your area of work, it may help to actually reach out to them on Slack and say, you know, hey, this feature is in, you know, would you please review it? Just because you don't want to just put something out there and just wait for someone to pick it up on their own. So try to contact people who you think can help you out. Make sure your patches are up to date and rebased. So if someone is looking for something to review and they see a patch that, you know, it says it cannot merge because it is not rebased, you know, they're likely to skip that. So if stuff looks up to date and rebased, more likely someone will review it. If at all possible, make sure your patches are passing all of their Jenkins tests. If there's a unit test or something that's hanging it up and Jenkins -1's your patch, then people are less likely to review it. That's not always possible because, you know, sometimes you'll have a patch set that has multiple mutual dependencies. Something like the logging work is a good example where not all parts of it can pass because you have to wait for some parts to get in before other parts will pass. In that case, when you're contacting people soliciting reviews, you know, let them know that this patch, you've actually tested it locally, and that as soon as its dependencies get in, it ought to pass too. And try to encourage people to review those ahead of time. You know, let them know that you want to get all this in at once. If they can give you a review, even if it's not passing, then that'll be helpful to you getting the whole feature merged. And then finally, when feasible, try to aim for small incremental patches rather than large monolithic patches. Certainly, there's times when a feature is so big that it needs to have a huge patch, but one of the keys to getting people to review things quickly is to have smaller, more frequent patches that don't take quite as long to review. So a lot of these are just rules that don't always fit, but you know, if you can look toward these guidelines, it might help get things in a little bit quicker. Well, that's all I wanted to say on that, but I did want to start going through our JIRA reviews. Let's start with, do we have Damalia? Yes, we have Damalia.
Yeah, I'm here. Hi. So from my end, so the patch set that I uploaded for VOL 892, that is ONU deactivation failure alarm, those got merged this morning. And as of VOL 895 ONU remote defect alarm, the reviews are still ongoing in Git. That's it from my side.
Okay, yeah, thanks. So yeah, 892, thanks for getting that in. And 895 we'll try to get reviewed today.
Yeah, so I got some couple of review comments from Kent. I think I need to address those. I'll be looking into it tomorrow.
Okay, great. Yeah, and of people that I mentioned that are good to contact for getting reviews, any of the Sienna guys, David, Ken, and Kent, they are all active reviewers. So they're good people to reach out to, and they usually do have good comments. And sometimes if you notice one of them has reviewed your patch, it's helpful to contact some of the others to get asked proactively for a review from some of them, because often a couple days later you'll see one of that trio will stop by with some comments as well. So those guys always make good reviewers. Yeah, thank you, Devmalya, for getting the one patch in, and thank you for your work on the other. And I'll be sure to take a look at it as well myself today.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Let's see. We don't have delete. We do have Dinesh. Yes. Okay, Dinesh, would you like to give status?
Yeah, I was working on the on-demand Redfish API Jira. So I added all the required information and resolved it. And then I was having some problem with the Git version for device management containers. So I fixed that and resolved that Jira. And then I was working on Jira 936, VOL 936. And I pretty much have the idea what all needs to be done. Then I finalize what should be the API and proto should be there. But I wanted to send the Gerrit, but when I was working on my Mac, I was compiling the Volta proto and I had some issues with a Python version. And then Friday after whole afternoon I was trying to resolve it, but I couldn't. So I will try to create another AWS Unix server and create an environment over there and then send through that instead of debugging this Mac thing.
Yeah, it's possible there'll be more people back today than there were on Friday afternoon. So maybe if you ask in the Volta or the Volta stabilization channel, maybe someone will have a tip that we didn't have on Friday.
Yeah, I'm discussing this on Volta stabilization.
Okay, good. Yeah, just try hitting people up again. I know David in particular is a Mac user, so he may know something that Zach or myself couldn't help with on Friday. But
Sure,
I
check.
do think your plan of getting an AWS machine in place so that you don't get blocked by this if there's a Mac issue is great plan. So that's a good direction to go in, is to always have that backup to be able to do something under plain ordinary Linux if you want.
Yeah, and on the Mac, the thing is there are multiple ways of getting packages. So people do brew or do Macport, and I actually use the package installation, because generally that package installation takes care of a lot of things which you don't have to do. That's why I was using package, but I'm not sure that's the right way of doing it or not. And through brew and Mac, I haven't used Macport, but on brew I didn't know how to get the specific Python version, so I'll work on that today.
Okay, great. Yeah, and I'm sure if we have other Mac users, they would love to hear what you had to do in case they run into a problem like this in the future. It's good. It's good to know how to get our code to build on all platforms, because certainly some platforms different package managers and such than others. So
Yeah,
thank you for spending the time to look into that. And if you do get it resolved, write up some notes someplace so that we can tell the next person who runs into the same problem again how we fixed it.
sure. Thank you.
Anything else, Dinesh?
No, that's pretty much.
I think next up would be Divya.
Yeah, hi Scott. I have submitted the patch for 2310, and actually Jenkins job is not passing for that. I am not sure why. Means it is not running at all from the morning. Uh, so I am not sure why Jenkins job is not running for that patch. Then
Okay, yeah,
I
I'll
have,
take a look into the 2310 Jenkins not running. I'm just writing myself a note down.
yeah, and please review the code as well. Means I guess
So,
all the comments are incorporated, so maybe it should go through.
yeah,
And
so
if that
you've
is,
addressed Kent and Ken and everyone else.
yes, yeah,
Okay,
all the comments have incorporated, and uh, I made those changes, so submitted the patch.
okay, great. Thank you. I will make sure I'll add myself a note to make sure that I review that today. I assume it's still somewhat dependent on Rohan's patches going in at least to be able to be used in the in VOLTHA Go and in OpenOLT due to the changes to the log level type.
Yes, because of that only my changes are not going. Means I have a dependency on those changes also
Right.
actually. So once they get merged, then only my code changes will go through.
Good.
So
Yeah, I've been
yeah,
making a big push to get this logging stuff reviewed and get all the dependencies merged and stuff so you guys get
yeah,
unblocked. We were blocked a little bit on other stuff last week that that we had to wait on, but I think I'm hoping we can get your patch and Rohan's patch in, you know, like today.
okay.
Yeah, and
So actually, I have submitted the patch for OpenOLT adapter as well, and for the Helm charts changes also. That
okay, great.
uh,
Yeah, I will make sure to look into that, and I will like I say, I'm going to keep trying to get the appropriate people to review the appropriate things and get everything passed and merged and get it all working because I think you guys have the feature in the libraries and in, you know, OpenOLT and VOLTHA Go pretty much complete, and it's just come down to waiting on merges at this point.
yeah.
So great work on
So
that.
thank you. So other than that, I was working on, means basically I'm working on OCTL changes as well. I have pushed the code changes for the internal review. So once the internal review is done, and if any changes are not required, then I'll probably this week I'll push those changes also for OCTL. Then
Okay, great. Um,
I
oh, go
I
ahead.
started make yeah I started making changes for Volta Go also for this dynamic logging, and we have made changes in the ATCD client for that watch method also, right? So I started making changes in that also. So once I test those changes, I'll push that code changes as well.
Okay, sounds great. So we could be looking at possibly doing a demo of this maybe next week or the week after.
Yeah, probably yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's people in the community who would love to see this this working in a demo. So yeah, well, let's just see what it takes to get all of these changes reviewed and in, and then as soon as that's done, we can talk about scheduling a demo.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Anything else to discuss, Divya?
Uh, Nothing. Only that code review and please check, see the code review.
Yeah, I'll try to get everything reviewed that's outstanding.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Next up, I think would be Rohan. Would you like to give status, Rohan?
Yeah, hi Scott. So last week I was working on this 2356. So I've submitted that patches. I think we are waiting for that patch set for of Chetrashri to get merged. So today I've submitted that patch, rebased that patch for OpenVLT adapter. So I hope if the Jenkins, I think the Jenkins hasn't run for it, or what, it hasn't given a failure also. So I think once that is
Actually,
done,
sorry to disturb, Rohan.
yeah.
You do one thing, just do recheck once
Recheck.
again. The Jenkins job is
Okay.
passed for me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So okay, I'll do that. And for that OpenVLT, I have rebased that patch. For Volta Go, I guess Jatrashi's patch is still not merged, so I haven't done rebase for that. I saw that you have done, Scott, but Jenkins First is failing for it.
Yeah, I think one of them it could be it's failing because the Helm charts are not in. Because there's like a sanity check that I think actually deploys the components, and I don't know if it will deploy successfully if we have the component updated but not the Helm chart. So I think I sent a question to Andy about that. You know, maybe if that is a blocker, maybe we need to turn that particular test off in order to get it merged. But I will look in with the QA people and see what we need to do on that, because I think when I tried your patches on Friday, I think I had them working successfully myself and deploying successfully. You know, your Helm chart together with your component patch. So yeah, I'll try to keep on top of that. We'll try to get all of this stuff merged in and working.
Yeah, okay. I think the because earlier with 2357 I did changes, right? So I think the component changes got merged earlier, and the Jenkins also passed for that. After that only we push the changes for hem charts. So like I'm not sure why it is failing for this part for this Volta Go.
Yeah, I'll take a look today and I'll talk. I'll get in touch with the QA people. We'll sort it out.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for that. And also, I was started work on that 2619. That was a bug which was created by David. So I've actually done the changes, but I had a little query like if we really need these changes, because because actually I could not find a scenario where this method level to log level would actually have an invalid parameter passing in. So like whatever the values will get in will already be the valid one. So I'm not sure. So I've pinged this David also regarding this. Haven't got a reply on that. I think he was not available on Friday. So yeah, once he reply, I'll submit that also.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks.
And apart from that, I've started work on that 2311. That's dynamic locking for Volta OpenUni adapter.
That was Volta for the Open ONU adapter. So
Yes.
I was just curious on that. We're going to have to sort of port a lot of the stuff that has already been written for Go is all going to have to be ported to Python. I assume that.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did
that's
some. Yeah, I did some asking around, but it seems like it's not going to come together anytime soon to move the ONU adapter over to Go. So I think that is the appropriate course of action for us to do this in Python, even though it's going to be some amount of work to port all that stuff that we have that you guys have developed in Go over to Python. But unfortunately, it's just necessary to do it this way.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I think yes. So that's why I started work on that. So probably I'll submit by next week or something. I started just today. I started for that work on that.
Okay, great. Yeah, we'll expect to see something on that next week. Then that sounds great. Thanks a lot, Rohan, for working on these issues. Anything else to report?
No, nothing else. Thanks, Scott.
Okay, let me just see. I don't think I have missed anyone who's on the call who typically gives status. Taskin, do you know, is Dilip out or?
I'll sync up with you later.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Well, that would be it then, unless anyone else has anything you'd like to discuss.
No.
Okay, great. Well, I thank you everyone for attending the meeting. Our next meeting will be 1 week from today, and we will diligently work on getting all of these patches you guys have been doing reviewed and merged. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye all.